Hello there, and welcome back to Hydroponics Daily, your go-to podcast for everything soilless cultivation. Today, I've got a couple of news stories that I think are really interesting, and neither of them apply directly to hydroponics, but I think will be of interest to hydroponic growers. The first one is a product called InnerPlant. Well, the company is called InnerPlant, and their product is called CropVoice. And this is a network of genetically modified soybean plants that are positioned around Nebraska and South Dakota. And they are genetically engineered to give an optical signal, maybe like they glow in the dark or something like this, when they're infected with fungal diseases. And they are expanding this to commercial scale now, so that when soybean crops get infected, and before they show symptoms of fungal disease, as soon as they're infected with the pathogen, they light up, and this is detected by their technology. And then they issue alerts to the farmers that subscribe to the service that they need to start taking measures to control the disease and make sure they can control it before. And as we know, with disease, it's always better. It's always easier to control it at the start. And once you've got an infection underway and the disease takes hold, then it's a lot harder to control. Just like, say, mildew. Once you've got the black spores appearing on your leaves, it's almost impossible to control it in your grow room. So really interesting. Certainly could see that sort of technology being applied to tomatoes and other crops and things like this with disease, and especially potatoes, like blight, where this travels across regions and things like this. So that was a really interesting news story. And the second one doesn't relate to plants at all. It's about varroa mites, which are an arachnid that attacks bees, particularly honeybees, and has resulted in millions of colonies of bees being destroyed and becoming in the last year or so. So especially in North America and America. So this is the number one problem of honeybees is varroa mites, and this new technology is RNAi, or RNA silencing, nucleic acid silencing of genes. So not genetic modification, but the application of nucleic acids, genetic material, specifically targets to downregulate and control the mites. So it won't affect the bees because they're completely unrelated. It won't affect any plants that the bees pollinate, crucially, and has shown really good effects. And so this is being commercialized now. And the great thing about this is that you can put the treatments into the beehives themselves, away from sunlight, because obviously UV light, ultraviolet light, it will degrade any sort of nucleic acids that you spray onto a plant or anywhere else, onto a flower. And so this is away from the UV that would potentially harm it. So you could potentially much longer lifespan for this sort of technology. So really interesting. Because of that, the company that is doing this is reporting 18 weeks of protection from the bees. So that's a really long and big, powerful claim. So the company is GreenLight Bio, and their product is called Noarroa, as in no varroa. It's trademarked, obviously, as well. I'm sure it's patented to its eyeballs as well. But this sort of technology is very easy to patent and very easy to show that somebody is infringing your patent, crucially. So, US beekeepers lost 1.7 million colonies between June last year and March this year. That is colossal. That shows you the scale of the process. Selectively targets the mites, and is distributed in the US by Man Lake Limited, whoever they are. So, really important for pollinators. And so loads of crops are pollinated by honeybees. And it's not just bumblebees that we're using in the greenhouses. Honeybees will be crucial for many, many crops. And so this will be a welcome development for people who are growing apples and other bee-pollinated crops. I found this on the Ag Digest website, agtechdigest.com. They also have a podcast, which is read by an AI voice. And if you're driving in your car and you want to hear a load of news stories in agriculture and horticulture summarized by an AI agent, it's a good listen. It's not the most friendly AI agent, not like me. You don't hear, doesn't give an opinion on anything, and it doesn't mutter or say all the time like I do. But it's a good podcast to listen to. So shout out to AgTech Digest. Sign up for that one wherever you listen to podcasts. If you found this episode interesting, then please do leave an Apple Podcast review. And as always, I'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye.